We are not makers of history. We are made by history. Lightning makes no sound until it strikes. Every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. A man who won't die for something is not fit to live. Property is intended to serve life, and no matter how much we surround it with rights and respect, it has no personal being. It is part of the earth man walks on. It is not man. No one really knows why they are alive until they know what they die for. Science investigates. Religion interprets. Science gives man knowledge, which is power. Religion gives man wisdom, which is control. Science deals mainly with facts. Religion deals mainly with values. The two are not rivals. Everybody can be great, because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. We must use time creatively, in the knowledge that the time is always right to do right. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but he must take it because his conscience tells him it is right. There is nothing more tragic than to find an individual bogged down in the length of life, devoid of breath. We must build dikes of courage to hold back the flood of fear. Shallow understanding from people of good will is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. A lie cannot live. Let no man pull you so low as to hate him. There comes a time when people get tired of being pushed out of the glittering sunlight of life's July and left standing amid the piercing chill of an alpine November. Rarely do we find men who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There is an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think. Only in the darkness can you see the stars. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into friend. The quality, not the longevity, of one's life is what is important. The past is prophetic in that it asserts loudly that wars are poor chisels for carving out peaceful tomorrows. Those who are not looking for happiness are the most likely to find it, because those who are searching forget that the surest way to be happy is to seek happiness for others. The limitation of riots, moral questions aside, is that they cannot win and their participants know it. Hence, rioting is not revolutionary but reactionary because it invites defeat. It involves an emotional catharsis, but it must be followed by a sense of futility. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. There can be no deep disappointment where there is not deep love. We must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. Never succumb to the temptation of bitterness. It is not enough to say we must not wage war. It is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it. Every man lives in two realms, the internal and the external. The internal is that realm of spiritual ends expressed in art, literature, morals, and religion. The external is that complex of devices, techniques, mechanisms, and instrumentalities by means of which we live. No person has the right to reign on your dreams. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. You will change your mind. You will change your looks. You will change your smile, laugh, and ways, but no matter what you change, you will always be you. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. This is why right, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant. An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. Nonviolence is absolute commitment to the way of love. Love is not emotional bash. It is not empty sentimentalism. It is the active outpouring of one's whole being into the being of another. Man must evolve for all human conflict a method which rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation. The foundation of such a method is love. History will have to record that the greatest tragedy of this period of social transition was not the strident clamor of the bad people, but the appalling silence of the good people. If you want to be loved, you must first learn to love yourself. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. We must come to see that the end we seek is a society at peace with itself, a society that can live with its conscience. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other. I am not interested in power for power's sake, but I'm interested in power that is moral, that is right, and that is good.